Let's get back down to Canberra now and catch up with the National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie as we all await the budget later tonight. Thanks for joining us, Bridget. I wanted to kick off on energy. That's sort of, to me, there won't be a hell of a lot of talk about it tonight, except for Labor throwing more money at our power bills. But the energy mess in this country just got deeper again yesterday with the announcement of yet another green hydrogen plant, a $750 million plant in Port Pirie in South Australia, falling over. Another one bites the dust. So when are Labor going to admit that this thing just won't happen?
Absolutely, Chris. It's like Chris Bowen is, that the Black Knight in Monty Python, another limb is slashed off his corpse and he just refuses to face reality. The Australian reported, I think today or recently, that 99% of hydrogen projects haven't proceeded past concept stage. This isn't going to fly. We have a comparative advantage on the energy front in so many areas in this country, an abundance of gas, an abundance of coal and a backyard, particularly for those of you in South Australia, full of uranium to really power our future in a low emissions century. And so for Labor to still be pursuing this pipe dream of green hydrogen when all of these projects are falling over when the rubber hits the road and they have to face reality just shows what dreamers and grifters are part of Labor's energy policy thus far.
They are absolutely dreamers. I'll show you a little bit of what they've been saying about green hydrogen lately. But the thing is, they've also backed it up with tens of billions of dollars of government subsidies and the like.
Billions
so
they're
throwing our hard tax dollars after these dreams. Have a listen to them.
We have an exciting future going forward in terms of green hydrogen.
Under an Albanese Labor government, these jobs will be secure because we'll be leading the global green hydrogen revolution.
And what we know is that the green hydrogen sector has an enormous potential in this country.
We have $225 billion pipeline for green hydrogen in Australia. That's across 100 projects.
My government sees enormous potential in green hydrogen and will look for opportunities to back green hydrogen projects.
Only Labor has the plan to ensure that Australia is part of and is leading that hydrogen revolution.
A hydrogen revolution? What sort of a clown is this bloke? Even with all that government money on offer, they've fallen over major projects in Gladstone, in the Hunter Valley, down in the Illawarra, two of them in South Australia, in Western Australia. They're falling over everywhere, and these guys are still talking about a green hydrogen revolution. Will you just put a line through this in your election campaign?
Oh, look, they're just so divorced from reality. The science isn't stacking up and they're shoveling, as you said, billions of dollars of taxpayers' money to these projects. Even Twiggy Forrest is walking away from this stuff. So the point and the problem is that our energy prices are going up, Chris. We've got an abundance of natural resource sitting here in the ground across 3 different types of energy sources, waiting to be unlocked, for that potential to be unlocked, to actually drive down energy prices in a sensible plan that's based in reality. Instead, obviously, the Labor Party chasing that green dream and unfortunately coming a cropper as a result.
Yeah, look, it underpins everything about this budget and everything about this economy is what we're doing to ourselves on energy. You, as a coalition, are not going to stand in the way of this latest round of rebates, $150 over the next 6 months to try and keep domestic power prices down. But this is such a band-aid, right? This is more taxpayers' dollars. It runs out in 6 months. What will happen in 6 months' time?
Well, Chris, the reality is I think it's close to $6.8 billion of taxpayers' money to subsidise energy bills when, remember, the Prime Minister, the last time the election rolled around and 97 times post that, he promised that your energy bill would go down. Instead, it's gone up on average $1,300. It's also driving businesses bust across our economy. So let's not kid ourselves here. Labor is not solving the primary problem, which is the increase in energy price. Instead, they're essentially putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound as, you know, consumers right across the country, businesses, households, are bleeding out as a result of their energy policy. And until they address the problem at its source with an energy policy that is sensible rather than these pipe dreams you and I spoke about earlier, it's not going to get any better. We need to have a sensible conversation in this country about getting more gas supplied into the energy system, and we need to have a future-focused conversation about net zero nuclear, which we know will power us into next century with a reliable, affordable source of power.
And we've got to get cracking. We've got to get cracking because we're killing the whole country in the meantime. Thanks so much for joining us, Bridget.